Hello, Gold Derbyites! Welcome back to another edition of Awards Magnet. I'm Deputy Editor Ethan Alter, here with two of our amazing senior editors, Marcus James Dixon and Mia McNiece. Welcome, both of you.
Hello,
Thank
hello.
you.
Thanks for returning. Thanks for another week. We should say we're taping this on a Monday with a holiday weekend in full effect this weekend. We know that people are steadily drifting off on vacation, but we want to capture a snapshot of where things stand before the voting wraps up. Final voting. We're in the final 2 days of Emmy voting. It all ends on Wednesday, August 27th, and people have to do other things and attend FYC events. I feel at least until Oscar season starts. So I feel very bad for everyone in LA that there won't be free food for a little bit, but don't worry, it's coming. More FYC events are coming.
Yeah, people listening to this are in the future. Like Emmy voting has already ended for them.
They've already digested their free food. Yeah.
Exactly. There we go. So I've gotten through, and it was a quieter weekend again. Like we were Gold Derby was front and center for like the busy weekend of the final voting period, which happened right before final voting kicked off on the 18th, and you both were all over at Televerse and other events and things like that. But we had a bit of a quieter weekend as we're sort of getting towards the end of this process, and people are checking off their ballots and doing things and handing them in at the last minute. So it's it's a good opportunity to sort of take a sense of where things stand. But before we get into that, we definitely want to hit some of the bigger headlines that happened in recent days, and certainly have been a few award shows that we've Marcus has been reporting on. So Marcus, you want to give us an update on some of the award shows you've been covering?
Yeah, it's funny. There were three award shows this weekend that had nothing to do with the Emmys. Thankfully, what you just said about the week before being super crazy. It wasn't it wasn't the same feeling this weekend. So first we had the Imagen Awards, and they recognize all the best Latino talent and media. The big winners, Danny Trejo was actually there. Some of the other winners weren't there, unfortunately. But we had The Last of Us winning Best Drama Series. The Best Comedy Series was a tie between Land of Women and Y Legoran di Noche. I think that's how you pronounce it. But yeah, that was an exciting one. We also had the Location Managers Guild Awards. The Penguin and the Studio were big winners. So was 1923. And they're still awarding things to a complete unknown. That won 2 trophies. The new Mission Impossible won a trophy. And then my favorite event of the weekend is the one that I attended, the AFCA Awards, African American Film Critics Association for Television. Kathy Bates, I mean, come on. She strolled the red carpet. She won Best Actress. She thanked everyone in attendance for inviting her to their cookout, which was amazing. Sterling K. Brown won Best Actor for Paradise. Kathy, of course, won for Matlock. And then Sky P. Marshall was there, Kathy Bates's co-star. She won the Best Breakout Award, so that was exciting.
And as you said, none of these are necessarily Emmy precursors, but they are a chance for people to get out and sort of make the rounds. If they win something, they can do some test runs of award speeches should they win on Emmy night. So it's that kind of more lower key event potentially. It still means a lot for sure, but not necessarily as intense for what could happen on Emmy night.
Right. And at AFCA in particular, there were no nominees, so they just picked their favorites.
Well, and one of the things was certainly Gold Derby has still been keeping on the train with a lot of Emmy interviews with contenders. We put out our digital magazine last week, which is you can see now on the site and elsewhere. It's great. It's filled with our analysis and some of our interviews and Q&As and things. And we've also been doing some recent wrap-up interviews as well. I just spoke with Sean Hattasey from The Pit last week, which is a really fun conversation, and J.K. Simmons for Die Hard 3. He got his first ever Emmy nomination for Die Hard 3, the former Quibi turned Roku series. And believe me, he thought it was as funny as everyone else did that this is the thing he gets nominated for. Not Oz, not Counterpart, not Law and Order, not any of those drama roles, but Die Hard 3. I think he appreciates the humor in that. So look for those rolling out. The Sean Hattasey one's already out, and the J.K. Simmons will be coming out soon. Marcus, what are some of the interviews you've done in these waning days?
I have not done any since we spoke last. Jessica Williams was a memorable one for me. Molly McNiece from Jimmy Kimmel Live. But Mia, who have you spoken to this?
Yeah, I had a great interview with Parker Posey just recently. She actually had some of her Emmy dresses behind her that she was going to be trying out to wear to the awards, but she had just so much, fun things to say, obviously about Making the White Lotus, but about her career in general and just kind of where she is right now and the fan reaction and how, making that show was kind of like a journey in her own kind of self-awareness and her life right now and just how much it meant to her. So that was great. And then also I spoke with Hannah Einbinder about Hacks and her close relationship with Jean Smart and how it's kind of evolved over the years. And then, of course, the famous scene in Mrs. Tables where she is throwing food on the wall and kind of how many takes they had to do to get that one just right. So that was a lot of fun.
Look for those on Gold Derby as well. Yeah, and we'll be getting into Parker Posey, I think, in a little bit in our first segment here. We have some thoughts in these final voting days. But yeah, so moving on to that, as voting is wrapping up, certainly one of the things, most of the races on our leaderboard on Gold Derby Prediction Center seem pretty set. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of movement. Not the things aren't necessarily. It doesn't seem like most races are stable. But in these final days, there's always the chance that someone who does seem to be the front runner is in a vulnerable position. So we wanted to kind of look around some of the bigger narratives in certain categories where we think that as wherever they might be in the predictions, maybe there's some vulnerability there. So Marcus, why don't you kick us off? Tell us in the comedy category, who's your pick for someone who's maybe most vulnerable in that category?
You're right. Some of these categories do seem locked up. I mean, Jean Smart is probably going to win a fourth, so that's not a category I'm thinking about too much. But this comedy guest actress category really has me scratching my head. I really think Julianne Nicholson is going to win for playing Dance Mom on Hacks. But I mean, she's up against last year's winner, Jamie Lee Curtis, who is having the best 2 or 3 years of her life. She won an Emmy last year. She won an Oscar 2 years ago. So the fact that so many people are just convinced Julianne Nicholson is winning this. I get that because her character was so funny, but her character was a little bit silly. And how often do silly characters win Emmys? Jamie Lee Curtis's character is fully rounded. She's a recovering alcoholic. She helps Abby Elliott deal with her pregnancy in this nominated episode. I think we're underestimating her and Cynthia Erivo for Poker Face. She's playing 5 different characters. A lot of people, not a lot, but some people are predicting Cynthia, and that's great for them. I think they could be right. But this category is really driving me crazy. I don't know what to do. Right now I'm just going with the odds, Julianne Nicholson. But if it's Jamie Lee Curtis or Cynthia Erivo, I would not be surprised at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really kind of like the hot kind of new buzzy people versus these established Hollywood legends and icons that are loved, So you have Seth Rogen versus Martin Short. Obviously, Seth is, in the lead, but like Hollywood loves Martin Short, and he did win the SAG award for the role, and he is just beloved. So I could see that, and the same for Ike and versus Harrison Ford. Like Ike is getting so much buzz. The studio obviously has tons of nominations, but it's Harrison Ford, and he's really beloved in Hollywood too. I mean, I would love for Harrison Ford to win and thank Sal Saperstein. Like it would just be, a funny move on his part. So I kind of think it's kind of the old, the old people, not the old people, but the old Hollywood legends that have been around forever versus kind of the hot new actors and shows that are, we're gonna see what really happens.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you on the Harrison Ford Ike Barinholtz situation. Ike Barinholtz has been leading our leaderboard for a while. He's still out in front, but as last week we had Denton, our other senior editor, attend the Televerse panel for Shrinking, and he reported back how much love there was in the room for Harrison Ford, and that came across both on stage and the audience. We saw that in our own traffic. People clicked on that article so much. It was a huge article for on Gold Derby. The excitement around Harrison Ford potentially winning. He's famously never won an Oscar. He's been nominated only once. He hasn't gotten his Lifetime Achievement Award yet. He's this would be his first major statue at one of these ceremonies. So that the excitement for that would be palpable, and it's for a great part too. It's not like it's a throwaway. He's great on Shrinking. People love him on that show.
And that would be one of the headlines the next morning after the Emmys. Harrison Ford finally wins an Emmy. Like you could see the standing ovation already in your head.
And same on the Seth Rogen, Martin Short of it all. Martin Short has won, does have an Emmy in his past. It's not for acting though, not for Best Actor. So this would be a first win for him in that category. And he is known as a performer than Seth Rogen is. Seth Rogen is really loved as a creator, as a writer, but maybe not necessarily as an actor. As funny as he's been, I don't know if actor is necessarily what comes to mind first when people think of Seth Rogen, especially now that he is this powerhouse creative force behind the scenes.
Right. I mean, I guess we could also discuss, Colin Farrell and Stephen Graham too, unless you guys think it's a slam dunk on one. But with Adolescence getting so many awards, and I mean, that last scene that, Stephen Graham does, it is just so powerful. I can't get it out of my head. So I'm just kind of curious what will end up happening there as well.
I think in the past we've always said that Colin Farrell has it mostly locked up, it feels like. Marcus, do you agree? Or
I mean, he's the one I'm picking, but there could be an Adolescence sweep here. And it could win it doesn't have a lead actress, but it could win every other category easily. So yeah, that's not a lock for me that Colin's definitely going to win that. I think Stephen could surprise.
Yeah, I spoke to the Adolescence co-creator Jack Thorne last week, and he was actually saying they went in for that final scene where Stephen Graham kind of breaks down, and they put in around the room real photos of his real family and kids with little notes from them, and it just really kind of gutted him emotionally so that he was able to put out such an amazing performance.
Yeah, no, it'll be really interesting to see. I think it certainly has felt like the performances of the Penguin have been the thing that is most likely to win, based on how a lot of the precursors and just based on the excitement around that show. Whereas Adolescence has the supporting roles and the series overall locked up. But yeah, it could very well surprise. I mean, Netflix has been very, very good about their limited series for the past 3 years running now. Two or 3 years running. So it's very possible for Adolescence to continue.
Another one in the limited categories that I think people are so convinced Erin Doherty's winning supporting actress, and I don't think it's that obvious. I think the fact that she does have a potential split with her co-star could hurt her. It probably will hurt her, to be honest with you. She could still win, but I really think Deirdre O'Connor has a great shot here. She's a veteran actress. She's done everything. She knows everybody. Every single Emmy voter in the acting branch has probably worked with her in some capacity. So this is her first nomination. So I really think it could happen for her. So I am predicting Erin Doherty. I'm going on the safe side here. But if Dee wins, I mean, don't be too surprised.
And we should say Denton had a great interview with Dee as well. So definitely everyone should check that out. He's been a big booster for her all season long, and it values her performance so much. And that really comes across in that conversation they have.
Yeah, she's out there campaigning. Erin Doherty is campaigning as well, so I don't want to take that away from her.
Well, let's also talk about we've talked about limited, we've talked about comedy. Let's talk about drama, and certainly one of the categories I'm interested in is the best supporting actress race right now, which is between so there are two White Lotus people at top, and then there's a possible spoiler in the mix as well, which we'll get to. Scrolling down to get to that particular part in our on our leaderboard, but that is in drama supporting actress. Carrie Coon for the White Lotus has been leading for quite a while now. Parker Posey is in second place, and as you said, Mia, you chatted with her, and then Catherine Lanassa from The Pit is in third. The suspicion has been that Carrie Coon has been the leader based on our predictions, but I don't know. I've always been feeling all along that Parker has this one. She had one of the buzziest roles on the show. The Piper No meme is everywhere. I think people are happy to see her come back. She's been a perennial favorite since the 90s, and she always gets rediscovered every few years, and this is her current return to prominence. And I think there's a lot of love for Parker Posey, and it's a great role for her, and she's great in it, and she's really made the most of it. So I feel like she has the edge. And then there's always the chance that the Pit surge is going to sweep some more of the actors in beyond Noah Wyle. And in that case, Catherine Lanassa, who is also campaigning very effectively, could potentially benefit from that. So I do see Carrie Coon as vulnerable, with Parker's most likely spoiler, but Catherine not necessarily out. Thoughts?
Yeah, I totally agree. I kind of am leaning a little more towards Parker lately. I just think that role was so amazing, and she was so great in it. But Carrie also, had a really, great role on it as well. I'm just wondering, if there's so many White Lotus cast members, if they do kind of split it up and then it does go to Catherine. So that will be interesting to see.
Yeah, sometimes voters, I'm thinking of Catherine Lanassa here. Sometimes voters love lead performances so much, in this case, Noah Wyle, that the supporting person kind of goes along for the ride. In 2021, no one was predicting Tobias Menzies to win for the crown, but they just, the voters loved that season so much, and Olivia Colman won, the lead actress, and then I think Tobias kind of got swept away in that. That could happen this year with Catherine Lanassa. Do not count her out, But I had Parker Posey for a long, long time, but I did switch to Carrie Coon after The Gilded Age came out. It was so popular. This was the most watched season they've had of The Gilded Age. Carrie absolutely killed it. She's a lead on that show. She's a supporting actress on The White Lotus. So I think Carrie Coon has this sort of overdue factor for her, and Parker Posey does not quite yet. So I think that could help push Carrie Coon over the edge.
No, there's certainly that argument. Certainly, the fact that she's so visible in the Gilded Age, which had, as you said, had a great season, a really highly rated season, it does put her work in mind, as opposed to Parker Posey, who maybe her presence on talk shows and interviews comes across a little bit different than someone who has another strong performance on at the same time. But I don't know, that Parker Posey, the Piper No, I just keep thinking of that. Like, that's up there.
She's the Jennifer Coolidge of season 3. I mean,
she really was the scene stealer, from the whole season, I think.
That's a tough category.
But Marcus, how about you? Where in drama are you seeing? Who are you seeing vulnerable there?
Okay, so I mentioned this on a previous podcast that we did, but Caitlin Dever for The Last of Us as a guest actress, she had quite an impact on that show, and a lot of fans did not like her character. Nothing against the actress. The character was just very evil, too polarizing. I mean, she murdered the main character on the show. So I do wonder if there might be a backlash for that. And, if that's the case, somebody else could win. Let me just pull up who I'm predicting. So I'm kind of going on my own and going with Merritt Wever, only because Merritt is so beloved by the TV Academy. She won for Nurse Jackie. She won for Godless, which... Okay, that's crazy. She won for Godless. So I do have her winning that. It looks like she's in third place at the overall Gold Derby odds right now. But I mean, her character on Severance was just so good, and she really got an emotional storyline with Zach Cherry. And I think she's the reason Zach Cherry got nominated. Remember, he was snubbed for season 1, and all of a sudden, this particular storyline was so good, so memorable, they both got in.
I'm happy to say that Zach Cherry was one of my Hope Dictions way back when, before nominations were unveiled. So when he got in, I was very excited, and I did feel that his scenes with Merritt Wever were again his strongest scenes in the season. So that to me felt like, yeah, if she got nominated, it makes sense that he would as well. And she's great, and I also have her as the one I would most like to see win. I think she's great in the show, and your point about Last of Us, that character in there is a good one. Like there is a chance for someone to sneak in.
And, Merritt Wever, we may be having this discussion 1 year from now because she was a guest star on The Gilded Age. She killed it. She was Carrie Coon's sister. It's crazy. We're talking about both of these actresses this year, and we will be talking about them next year, too, for completely different performances.
Right. It all comes back to The Gilded Age. Julian Fellows is laughing his way to the bank on that. Yeah, any thoughts on the guest actress race? I
kind of still think it's Caitlin. I totally hear what Marcus is saying, but her performance and the show itself, I just still think I could see her taking it.
And what's your pick in the drama area? Someone who's vulnerable. Where do you see a vulnerability?
Well, I mean, I do think she is still vulnerable a little bit as well. So I think it's like a little bit of both. I mean, I think she is, leading, and I would go with her, but I do see that I do see what you're saying. There is some, a little bit of drama in there too. And I mean, you're talking about the series as well, with the Severance versus the Pit. Same thing, there's some vulnerability with either of those shows for that category.
Yeah, that's been a big thing that I think that we've been talking about in recent weeks. Sure, the heart versus head debate, right? It always goes back to that. If Severance is the head and the Pit is the heart, where do people sort of fall on that spectrum?
I don't have a heart, so where do I go?
I go to Severance.
Lotus comes in.
I think we also wanted to talk about Hannah Einbinder versus Kathleen O'Hara versus Janelle James. That's a hard one.
Circling back to comedy, yeah, good call.
I mean, I guess Hannah seems like the front runner, but she was the front runner last year and she lost. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I think Hannah deserves it. I think her performance was great, especially in this most recent season. But man, I mean, Kathleen O'Hara's performance is amazing. Janelle, her Principal Ava this season really kind of stole the show and really focused on her. And she had a little bit more drama mixed, obviously the comedy was her main thing, but it was just some bigger arc to her character this season. So I agree, Marcus, those three, I don't know. I'm really excited to see who takes that category.
And Liza Colon-Zayas. I mean,
Hmm.
not a lot of people saw that coming last year, and she won for the episode Napkins. Well, technically, she didn't win for Napkins, but the voters had seen that episode, and I think that was in their mind, and now they officially will vote on that category.
Were you just trying to get in the word napkins again, Marcus?
Yes. Okay. Take a
That
drink. Take a shot.
word.
The Gilded Age and napkins, as those are the words you should come away from this podcast. Remember,
Yeah.
those are the buzzwords. Well, great. The final voting wraps up on. Will have wrapped up by the time you hear this. So we'll see if any of these vulnerable candidates we mentioned wind up being vulnerable on the big night. But for now, it'll be interesting to see how that matches up. But let's move on. Two of the big fall film festivals are launching this week. The Venice Film Festival starts on Wednesday, and then the Telluride Film Festival kicks off on Friday. Our editor-in-chief, Deborah Birnbaum, will be on the ground at Telluride, filling us in on all the big premieres and screenings, and we're all keeping track of the action at Venice from afar. Mia, you've been doing a great job sort of outlining what's happening at Venice in terms of premieres. Give us an overview of what to look out for.
Yeah, I definitely have Venice FOMO. So yeah, a lot of big films, a lot of big directors and stars that have had a lot of success at Venice, that led them to the Oscars are returning. So we have Noah Baumbach's Jay Kelly with George Clooney, and Adam Sandler. Adam Sandler is actually getting a lot of buzz for this particular role, playing the manager to Jay Kelly. And then we have Emma Stone is back with Yorgos's film Begonia. So obviously they've had a lot of success at Venice in the past. And we'll see if it happens again. I think people are excited to see Frankenstein and Jacob Elordi's performance in that. So that will be heading to Venice. And then we also have After the Hunt, Julia Roberts and Andrea Garfield and Ayo Diabri will be there. So we'll see that, there's already a lot of actually talk of Julia returning to the awards scene for this film. So we'll see, if that happens, in Venice will be a good indicator. That film is also going to the New York Film Festival and kind of making its rounds. And then Dwayne Johnson's, hoping to break into the awards conversation as well with A24's The Smashing Machine. That's heading to Venice as well. So really kind of fun and interesting to hear what the feedback will be after these movies debut on the Lido.
Right. It's so funny how these sort of stack up on each other. We are still talking about Emmys, but the Oscar speculation is already rampant. It's going to get even more so. Sorry, and I think certainly the Smashing Machine is going to be a big one because the Dwayne Johnson factor. How will he campaign? Will he be in the? It seems like almost certain that he'll be in the awards race. It's unless something goes horribly wrong in the film. It seems like that's the kind of sort of career transformation that voters love to reward, and we know that he loves to work the circuit. So his presence throughout the season is going to be really interesting, going from Venice to Toronto, where I'll be able to catch up with the movie at that point. So yeah, I'm very curious to see how the Smashing Machine lands.
I'm really excited for Frankenstein. I love Guillermo del Toro. I was disappointed by Pinocchio, so I'm hoping that Frankenstein will kind of beat my expectations.
Yeah, no, I think it'll be exciting to see what he does with Frankenstein. I was a big fan of Nightmare Alley, which played at New York Film Festival and then went nowhere in award season really after that. But I really enjoyed that, so I'm excited to see his take on Frankenstein and Frankenstein's monster and all that. Because with Guillermo, it'll always be something distinctive. He always has a distinctive take on monsters.
He went from like sea creatures, to monsters, basically. So
he's the perfect choice to sort of do a new take on Frankenstein.
Right, absolutely. And I'm sorry, just Frankenstein is going from Venice to Toronto, so I'll be able to catch up with that there. And some of the other carryovers, I was just looking at some of the other Venice films that will be playing there. There's The Testament of Anne Lee, which is Mona Fastfold's new movie. She's Brady Corbet's collaborator and wife. They worked on The Brutalist last year, and this is her film. It's set in a Quaker community and features Amanda Seyfried. So I'm very excited to see her take on a historical period epic. I think that'll be really something to see. And
I feel like Amanda's such good casting for that too. I could just picture her already, in that role.
Absolutely. No, I think. Do you think she might be in the Best Actress conversation? If anything else,
I think so. I don't know because I haven't yet to see the film, but we'll see what the buzz is coming out of Venice, and I definitely think it's a possibility.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one. And then the other film I'm really excited for is Scarlet, which is a new film from the Japanese director Mamoru Hosoda, whose work I've really liked in the past. It's an animated film. It's based on Hamlet, and I'm very curious to see what his take on that story is. And it could also be an Oscar contender on the Best Animated Feature race, because certainly a lot of American animation hasn't been so great this year. So I think we're going to be looking abroad for a lot of the animated contenders. The only obvious exception is K-pop Demon Hunters, which has that international influence, but was made by an American studio.
Box office champion K-pop Demon Hunters.
That's right. Yeah, newly crowned box office champion K-pop Demon Hunters. And then some of the other ones that I'm sure you're excited about too, Mia, is Jay Kelly, which is, you mentioned, this is George Clooney and Adam Sandler working with Noah Baumbach. That's an interesting dynamic. Sandler's worked with Baumbach before. I think that this is Clooney's first time working with him. I'm going to be very interested to see the Clooney-Sandler dynamic. That I'm very excited to see what that looks like.
Definitely. And there's also two docs that happen to be Coppola related, which is kind of funny. There's the Mark by Sophia, which is directed by Sofia Coppola and centers around kind of fashion designer Marc Jacobs. And then also at the festival is, Megadoc by Mike Figgis, but it's about the making of Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis. So there's two Coppola docs that will be in Italy as well.
Yeah, no, that's exciting. And then the other one that comes around, I think this will be at New York later, which both Mia and I will be at, so that'll be fun to see it in New York, is the new Jim Jarmusch film, Father, Mother, Sister, Brother. I'm a big Jarmusch fan, and he takes a long time between projects, so whenever he has a new movie out, I'm always excited to see what he's come up with. So I've avoided reading too much about this one. I like to experience them in the moment, but I just seeing his name in the lineup made me very, very happy.
Yeah, I've just been trying to get the father, brother, mother, sister, the four in the right order every time I'm writing about it. So as long as I get that down, I feel like a success. Yeah.
Right.
Everyone out there, go and update your Oscar predictions, because especially this week with the festivals, there's going to be a lot of breaking news of who's in, who's out. And at Gold Derby, you can now predict Best Animated Feature. So that just got added to our prediction center.
That's right. So Scarlet, you heard it here. Well, I'll find out in 2 weeks for sure. But you heard it here first. Scarlet maybe could be a late-breaking contender. And then Mia, you also mentioned House of Dynamite. This is Catherine Bigelow's big return. It's been she hasn't made a feature film since 2017's Detroit. So it'd be great to see her back in the mix. And it's another timely political film that deals with not a real world event in this case, but certainly something that feels very authentic to our experience. So I'm very excited to see what she's come up with. Sure.
Yeah, that'll be great. I mean, she was with, she went to Venice in 2008 with The Hurt Locker. So, she's back. She's had a long break there, and now she's back with this one. So that will be great to see.
Right. And not for nothing, but James Cameron has a new Avatar film out later this year as well. So maybe we'll have another matchup where Catherine Bigelow wins a second one over James Cameron.
I can't wait for that. That's going to be, I already know that's going to be in my top three. I'm an Avatar fan.
I agreed 100%. I enjoy. I'm happy to sit when they do the inevitable marathon of all 5 films in the year 2035, and you spend 40 hours in a theater watching all of them back to back.
My back hurts just thinking of it.
Oh my God, Ethan's already has his ticket, but I don't know if I could do that.
My ticket, I'm reserving food in advance, and we're all drinking our protein out of straw boxes. Yeah, no, I'm ready for it. So that's the Venice lineup, but we should also touch on Telluride, because Telluride does kick off on Friday. The big thing about Telluride is that you never know what you're going to see until that morning. Usually, you get on the plane and then you find out what the lineup is. So we're by the time you're hearing this, we won't have had the full lineup, but we have a sense of what's coming. And certainly one of the films that we have a strong feeling will be at Telluride is Sentimental Value, which is a big hit at Cannes. It's the new film from Joaquin Trier, who previously made The Worst Person in the World, and it reunites him with the star of that film, Renata Rensiv. It also has Stellan Skarsgård in it, and Deborah has seen it and been raving about it. So expect that to be a strong award season player as well.
Yeah, like you said, it's hard to know exactly what will be there, but there have been, rumors online swirling of what might be there, including Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere, which I think everyone's excited about. That is going to the New York Festival, so it is making its rounds, but it may have its kind of a big festival debut there. We'll see. And then also some rumblings about Colin Farrell's Ballad of a Small Player being there as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if either of those two end up at that festival. And I'm really curious to hear what the buzz will be once they do.
And the other one that will be there from Cannes is It Was Just an Accident, which was Jafar Panahi's latest film that won the Palme d'Or at Cannes. He's a very respected Iranian filmmaker, and this one was made under secrecy because he's not allowed to openly make films in his home country. He's been in prison before in the past, so it was a real risk of courage to make this film, and for it to get distribution and recognized in that way is always great to see. So that's going to play at most likely play at Telluride, and also come to Toronto, and also be at New York. So it's going to be at every major festival on its way to a likely, certainly Best International Feature nomination, and possible Best Picture nomination as well if it breaks into that race. And then another potential coming direct, the Venice to Telluride pipeline can also include Jay Kelly, which is another one that, as we mentioned earlier, is going to be big at Venice. It's going to potentially play Telluride, and then it's definitely going to be at New York as well. So it's always fun to see where these different movies ping pong around the globe, and then the amount of airtime that all the cast and crew has to log from one place to another.
Yeah, definitely. I think, there's going to get there. They will have some big stars, at Telluride though as well. I think Dustin Hoffman, his movie Tuner might show up there. Like you mentioned, some of the Springsteen ones. So it's a great festival with, smaller, kind of more intimate, but with still a lot of big stars and great films.
Right. Absolutely. No, it's exciting to have the movies to talk about after what's been kind of a rough summer at the box office and in theaters too. It has not been the strongest summer lineup for movies. So it's good that we're turning the page now. Fall has some really great stuff on the horizon. And when you hear from us next, we'll have Deborah on the show. She'll have gotten back from Telluride and be able to fill us in on some of the titles we previewed here. Mia, you'll be watching Venice a lot, like all of us from afar, keeping up with what's getting reactions, what people seem to be thinking, and then I'll be about to head off to TIFF, so I'll be able to see what I'm going to be excited to see if I have to do any last minute scheduled Jenga to get to something that I hadn't realized before is now on my radar because it's a huge Venice hit. So check back for that next week. But in the meantime, this is Labor Day weekend. Where we're going to be kicking back and relaxing a little bit. But it's a good chance to take stock of the summer and sort of think about what stuck with us from the past few months in terms of a TV show or movie that we really like. So Mia, kick us off. What's the piece of media you most enjoyed from this past summer?
Well, it actually isn't. It's pretty recent, so I don't know if it's from the past. But I just saw Highest to Lowest, Spike Lee's new movie with Denzel Washington, and I do think it kind of stuck with me. Maybe I'm just missing New York because there is some amazing scenes that take place in New York. Amazing scenes on the subway and parades, and just so much fun stuff to kind of visually take in that it really kind of sticks with you after you leave. And I think it would be a fun kind of Labor Day weekend watch as well.
Yeah, and it's premiering on Apple TV Plus, I believe, right? So yeah, it'll be out there. Perfect. So perfect way for people to experience it. Did you feel like it played? Do you think if people do have the chance to see it on big screen still though, should they take advantage of that? Is it a big screen movie?
I would definitely go to the big screen if you can. Yeah, there is just kind of these epic scenes over New York and action sequences that are really fun to watch on the big screen for sure.
Marcus, how about yourself?
Yeah, that's one that is on my list of things I need to see. Weapons was the movie of the summer for me. Amy Madigan, I mean, if there's any justice in the world, the Oscars will nominate her for this. I'm pleading for them to nominate her. She was so good. I worry if she's maybe not in it enough, but we'll see. And then for TV, I've been loving Alien Earth. I've been interviewing some of the cast and artisans, so those will roll out after certain episodes air. I've seen the whole season, and the finale is just absolutely bonkers. I can't wait for everyone to see it so that we can talk about it. And another TV show I'm freaking out over is Australian Survivor versus the World. It's the Olympics of Survivor. People from every country are competing. Some of our favorite American contestants are on. So that is just giving me life.
We alluded to it earlier, but for me, the big story of the summer has to be K-pop Demon Hunters, and it deserves it. It's such a fun movie to watch, and my two kids loved it. I loved watching. We didn't do the sing-along version this past weekend that topped the box office, but even watch at home, it's just a really just delightful movie. Lots of very inventive animation. The songs are just stick in your head. I've had Soda Pop in my head on repeat for like a week now. It's really enjoyable, and to see it take off with viewers has been really fun. It's sort of that stealth Netflix special where they drop something, it sits there, and then it hits the audience, and the algorithm goes wild, and it just goes out from there. So that when we look back on the summer, I think this is the K-pop Demon Hunter summer for sure. And then a quick plug also for a smaller movie I really enjoyed, Oh Hi, from Molly Gordon and Sophie Brooks, starring Logan Lerman as well. That was a fun. It's sort of a fun riff on Misery or Gerald's Game. It starts off as with a couple vacationing, and they decide to have a play around, and they handcuff one handcuffs the other to the bed, and you think it's going in the Misery or Gerald's Game direction, but then it goes in a very different direction, more of a rom-com, dark rom-com style. It's really clever. Molly Gordon's great, and Logan Lerman's a lot of fun in that film too. So it had a very small theatrical release. I don't think a lot of people saw it, but it's going to be coming to VOD and digital not too long, and definitely recommend watching it home. It's a really fun film. Those are our summer picks. Take your time over Labor Day, check those out, get caught up, and be prepared, because when we come back, we're going to be looking ahead to fall and all the movies and TV shows that brings, and of course, final Emmy night on September 14th. So thank you both for being here, and we'll be back in your ears and in your eyes very soon. Take care. Thanks for listening to Awards Magnet, Gold Derby podcast. Like what you heard? Leave us a review wherever you listen to podcasts. Awards Magnet is produced by Andrew Merrill. Our logo is designed by Chelsea Sakura. Please like and subscribe to stay on top of all the awards news, and email us at awardsmagnet@goldderby.com.